Now let's have a look at the same deal on the iPad. Now let's have a look at this. You can see the blue lines, and I've got the layers panel open there. This is the iPad mini, which is very small but still very usable. And I can enlarge those up to as much as I like. You can see that. Very easy to work with. But in this case, I'll just leave them down there where we can see the whole lot. And you can see that I've been working on some of them, and because I put them into a layer group, you can see that I can turn that off, and there's what I've been drawing. There's the image, the master image, and there's all the ones I've been drawing. Now if I expand that and just tap that, any image, any lines I draw now will continue to be in that layer. Now because I haven't got that on, I haven't got my pencil selected. Silly me. There's my pencil. Settings are the same. Window stabilizer set to 1, and all the rest of it's the same. Now I'll just go around there. You can see I'm very used to using the iPad. No wiggly lines, and it just goes straight around. But it's also a lot easier to use, I find. There's our midline. There's our balloon shape, and I'll just drop it there, continue on around there, because I'm tracing here, and that's very easy. There's the nose, there's an ear, right on the ear's right on the line there, you see. Now there's the eye right on the eye line. How can I check that? Easily. Reduce the number of layers and turn the layer panel off. And back on again. Now we can draw this one over the side here, move him out. There's our balloon shape to start with. There's the top hairline. Around the ears and down the back. Can finish the ear. There's the midline. That takes us over there, so we can do an eyebrow. We can do an eye there because he's looking sideways, remember. There's the nose again, just like the previous one. This is how you keep all your characters looking the same, because now I'm not using the right pencil tip for this, because I'm just filling in that, filling in those lines, filling in where the hair is, but I would normally use a better pencil for that, more suited. But you can see if we reduce that again, turn that off, there's the line there. Now obviously that's not the finished article, but you can see how it's taking shape, and that's using the iPad. Now there's all the ones down there. Now what I want you to do, if you would, is continue to use these because you're not affecting the master. You can see the master's there and it's locked, so really you shouldn't be drawing on that. You have a layer on top of it, set into groups, and you can do anything you like in there. And in fact, when you're finished, and if you really want to be specific about this, you can turn that layer off, export that, and it will be just your work. And that's all there is for this bit. So keep practicing doing those heads, and in the next lesson we're going to move on to the next part of the cartoon character. What I'd like to do is do some of these in the modern style as well as this, the modern contemporary style, as well as this rather old-fashioned cartoon characters. But if you can draw these, you can draw any of them. Before we move on from this lesson, I want to show you what's in this group, the traditional group. Now, as you can see, we're on the cover page. If we look over this side, turn that off, turn that on. It's in the layers panel, remember? Now, if you can draw any of these freehand or by tracing, then you're doing really well, because these are your basic characters. If you're going to use them just on the page, then you can enlarge the page, remember? Use the navigator to go across, up and down. You can enlarge the page, so you can just work on one. It's that easy. When you're finished, you can reduce it by using the command minus sign, or you can copy one of these and put it over here on the pencil settings page and work away quite happily there. Now, when you've done that one, move on to the next one, the balloon heads, which we were working on just before and are actually still working on it on the iPad. Or if you like, using the graphics tablet, the XP pen, which I mentioned also in the description. Looking at different angles. You do the same with this one. You just highlight that group and there you are working on that group. Balloon shapes. All heads aren't the same. These are cartoon characters, remember, so you can squeeze them, move them, turn them as you like. The location of a person's features, and you've all seen these cartoon characters, much exaggerated. And this is where you can have a lot of fun. Now, girls' heads are somewhat different, and that's as it should be. And here's where you get the practice at doing girls' heads. You may have already wondered in your cartoon work, how do I differentiate between girls and boys in cartoons? Well, that will lead you down that road. Facial expressions, all the different expressions you can put. Now see, they're all within the balloon shape. Some of them squeeze balloons, some of them not. And finally, based on real people. This makes cartoon characters relatively easy to draw. Let's undo all those, unhighlight them, turn them off if you like, so that we're left back on that one. Now that's what you need to do. When you're familiar with all those, move on to lesson 3, but not before, I would advise. Certainly have a look at them, but with lesson 3, we're probably looking at individual images and contemporary groups. Now the contemporary group one is done exactly the same. At the moment we're looking at Cartoon Boy 1, turn that off, excuse me, turn that one off, turn that one off, turn that one off. These are more modern, more contemporary, and you can see Hanna-Barbera, Anime, and 1970s Comic Girl. Okay, now let's move on to the next lesson when you're ready. But first I want you to practice with this lesson. There is enough material there, particularly in that one, to take you quite a while. Use paper, use the digital drawing pad, use your iPad, or if you like, if you're very comfortable with it, just use the mouse. Very easy to use. The drawing tablet is also very easy to use, and the drawing tablet, I might add, that I'm using is called the XP-pen, and it's very cheap. It's about 30 bucks, I think. Certainly wouldn't break the bank. You could sell a few papers up and down the street to afford one of those. So don't be worried about buying one of the really expensive hundreds of dollars one. 30 bucks will get you a nice little tablet that you can hook up to your computer, and away you go with your cartoon drawing. So in this lesson, which is the last of this first series, we're switching the naming convention to lesson 1, the comic head, and groups. This is this part. This is all of the groups we're using for lesson 1. Now that's in conformity with the original naming convention of this. But what we're going to do in this one is get started with the practice of sketching over, drawing all of these, and also included in this is an assignment sheet that you might like to follow through, and you can even submit it if you like, and we'll have a look at it here to see how you go. But for now, how do we go about doing this? Well, we've got where the traditional group is on what we call page 3 here. Now it's over the right hand side. Just let me expand that. Before we go any further, I'll see if I can put in our object that follows the mouse. The mouse pointer is fairly large there, but we need something a little bit bigger on this screen. Now we've got lots of groups here, and one called the cover page. Let's turn that one on, and we'll turn that one off. There's the cover page, same as that there. Now, shall we enlarge this a little bit? I will. Just wait a moment. Now what we've got here is that there. Now I don't want to move that, so I'll just put that back in place. But that's group 1. Now what I've also done is create, there's lesson 1, the comic head, drawing cartoon characters. Classes in easy lessons with Affinity Designer. Familiar with the other ones, but we've renamed the naming convention. Now what I want to do is we don't want to do group 1 because that's just the cover. Drawing the balloon head is that one there. Now it's very small. We don't want to change that size. Let's go to the navigator. We'll enlarge the navigator. Take that up there so we can see it. Enlarge it even more, won't hurt. Move the navigator over there. And you can see that what we've got here is drawing the balloon head. Now there is text there, but you don't want to be messing about trying to find that. So go back to layers, Control C to copy it, or Command C to copy it on the Mac. Go up to File and New from Clipboard. This creates a completely new, and you can see it there, untitled, completely new file, and you can enlarge that. Use the navigator if you like to bring that up in size, and you can read that. Now that's quite a large page. That's an 11 by 17 page, but it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do, once you've read that, and you can see each one here, go to your pencil. Remember, this is an untitled. You can save this if you like, and it's probably a good thing that you do. Now I'll go over to layers. We've just got that layer 1 there at the moment, and you can see that I've already got some sketches drawn on there, but we can't see them because they're turned off, and they're all out of place from the previous practice. So let's just get rid of those, and there we are. We're on that group there. Now we've got the pencil. Its width, we need the width of, let's say, well, we want to be able to see this. It would normally be smaller. There's 4.5. Auto closes off. Smoothness is set to 60. There's no controller. The stabilizer is window with a size of 1, and we only want the line style. Don't click on the use fill because you don't want the fill. Now what colour have we got? Let's have a look in the colours thing. We don't want black, it's the outside line. What we want is blue, and we want a nice deep blue. Now we go back to layers. We're on the page. Now I've got the mouse here, and the mouse is terrible to draw with. But you might be a master at the art of drawing with the mouse. Now there's your first line, and you can see the smoothness has set that to, it's not too bad actually. If you're using the XP pen, there we go, that's the little tablet I've got here, the XP pen. You'll see it in the, you'll see the reference to it. Oh, that's a wriggly line, isn't it? And it kind of straightens out. Let's do a Control Z, get rid of that, or Command Z. That one's not much better. You can see I'm not used to using the tablet. What can I suggest? I suggest that you spend a considerable amount of time practicing with the tablet. It's absolutely brilliant once you get the feel of it. But I'm very much used to using the iPad with a pencil. And you can see the lines you've got there. Now to see what you're doing, it's easy enough. You go over here and you turn off the underneath layer, and you can see quite clearly the layer that you've been working on. Now what I want you to do with this, go back to move. You can see we're using drawing the balloon head. Let's turn that one off and turn the angles one on. Select turning looking angles, and you can see that there. Command C to copy it. Go to File and New from Clipboard. And there we have, starting all over again, is that one there. That's the one. Now, if you like, you can lock that. So you don't accidentally draw on it. But with that selected, let's just put in a new layer there. And you can draw on that layer if you like. Where's our pencil? Go to the pencil. Around we go, around and around. And that's that little bit drawn there, and there it is there. That's hide the background, and there's the first part that I've just drawn. I won't spend ages drawing all these because that's for you to do. Now spend as much time as you like doing this. It's this first part, drawing the comic head. This is where the rest of your skills are honed. If you can accomplish this, you can accomplish the rest. Now we go back here, go back to lesson 1, the comic head. Hide that one, go to changing the balloon shape. And you go there, and you can see how that affects the shapes of the heads. Do the same thing with that. Copy and create a new file from your copied layer. Go to the next one, location of features, and do the same thing. Go to the next one, girls' heads, and do the same thing. Go to the next one and do facial expressions and gestures. And don't forget to enlarge it enough so you can read the text. That's very useful text. Then go to the last one and based on real people and copy those. Now when you've done all that, you can do the same with individual tracings, and you can do the same with contemporary group bodies, although we'll get more into doing the bodies in the next. Let me minimize that. and there's the bodies there. Now if we go down here, let's select contemporary modern heads, hide that, and you do the same with that. There's that one there. Command C to copy it. File, new from clipboard, and there they are there, all ready to copy. Now, as you get, these are quite complex. Start with the balloon heads first. Once you get over here, you're starting to get into the slightly more complex characters. But if you look at that, you'll notice that it's the same thing. Pencil tool, let's just put a layer in there first. There's Jim Lee, the first one. I've got all the layers in there. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Let's go to the pencil tool. And the idea of tracing is not so that you're copying somebody else's work and using that, passing it off as your own, which is a really naughty thing to do, but it's getting your hand, your muscle memory, getting your hand in to following the shapes of faces. And you can see I really hashed that one up, but I'm using the mouse so it doesn't matter. That's the one that's on Jim Lee too. Turn it off and there you can see the original shape. What I'd suggest you do is, because of the way I've got these images set there, go to Jim Lee 1, which is the PNG file, make a copy, Command C, go to File, New from Clipboard, and there's our Jim Lee 1, the simple file. And you can see how simple they are, but you haven't got all the other stuff underneath. So, put a layer on top, select your pencil, and begin sketching. Now, how can you do these on paper? I would suggest that you can actually print these out, and with normal letter size or A4 paper, just place it over the top, and then you can see the image through the paper and underneath, and you can begin tracing in by hand that way. And what can you do with traces done like that? Well, if you're very clever, you can scan them in. And there's the face there that I've been very roughly drawing around. Okay, now you end up with a lot of untitled files up here. You can save them or not. I don't want to save them. I'll just, because remember they're untitled, so you're not confusing them with parts of your original material, which is right back here, and there's your original document. Lesson 1, the comic heads. Go to Navigator. Let's bring that down in size so we can see everything that's on there. Go back to Layers, and I'll select that one there, which is Contemporary and Modern Heads, and it's somewhere in there. Or not. Assignment sheet lesson 1. There we go. Now I'll just copy that, because you're not, that's the entire layer, you see. Assignment sheet lesson 1, Command C, new from clipboard, and there it is there. Navigator, let's bring that up in size. and you can read that quite clearly. The purpose of this first lesson is to start you drawing the cartoon head in its simplest form and to teach you how to place the features correctly. The method we give you for locating the features from all views is a surefire, time-tested way of creating funny faces. It's a cartoon, remember, and it is basic and it works. For practice, cover sheets of paper with balloon head shapes and swing those balloons in freely. Use the centre and eye lines for locating the features. Strive for new combinations of features and draw the heads from different angles. Carry a pencil and paper with you and have fun with them during odd moments. Keep your eyes open for people around you with unusual features. Using the balloon and guidelines, try to capture those features in their similar forms on your paper. The best cartoon heads are based on observations of real people. Don't copy the heads in the text for these assignments, and don't just dash off 6 heads and rush them to the post office. Practice until you are sure you understand and can see the teaching in the lesson. When you feel you can draw heads upside down and sideways according to the rules, then send your assignments along. Your work from this lesson will be criticised and graded on the basis of how well you've understood and used the method given for drawing the comic head. The assignment you are to email in for criticism follows as assignment 1 and assignment 2, and so forth. Okay, we won't go any further with that, because after this comes, you'll notice that that's untitled. I haven't saved it, so I can just close that, and we're back to the original document. Now you'll find this original document to save you a lot of time and heartbreak. I'll also be putting this document, the entire Affinity Designer document, up on the either the Drive or the Google Drive or Dropbox Drive, probably both of them, for you to download and use at your leisure. So look for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell so you're reminded when the next lesson comes up, and that'll be in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. So you may forget, but if you check the bell, you'll be reminded that there's a new lesson up there, and that'll be lesson 2, and that will be the body, doing the body, because at the moment I've got bodies there, obviously, but the rest of this lesson 1 is heads, the comic head. Okay, see you there.